What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one. And I just watched a movie called Iron Claw, starring Zac Efron, Hope McCallany, and Lily James. I didn't even need to fumble that name. It was not even that difficult of a name. I could have made it through this easily. I'm just so used to messing up. First of all, this movie is based off of tragedy. All right. An entire family tragic situation has happened to make this film possible. We all know, all of us diehard wrestling fans know, a lot of wrestlers have been through a lot of tragedies and drama and turmoil and death and pain and just F-ups constantly throughout their career. And the first one that comes to mind is Chris Benoit. Now, this is nothing to make light of. All right, there will be no jokes with this. This man is probably by far the worst one out the list. Okay, the saddest one. It's the saddest. It's the most confusing one too. This man, he whatever roid rage he was on or whatever, thought it was time to just hurt his entire family. All right, and that was completely unnecessary. I hate that it went out like that. That even happened. But the steroid usage is insane. All right. Crazy to put loved ones through stuff like this. They're not coming back. They're not coming back. And I'm surprised there hasn't been any kind of documentary on him or movie or anything like that. There might have. I'm not aware of it. If there has, there will be at the bottom of the screen. But for now, I don't know anything like that. All right. Then we have Ultimate Warrior. Yes, this is the guy that came out in the ring. He had the makeup on. He was grabbing the ropes like this. All right, he was an animal. All right, I've never seen this man without his makeup on. It's just crazy. And I recently saw it, and I had no idea who the hell that was. Who is that? Who is that? Huh? No movie. No feature of a film or anything like that. No documentary for him as well. Okay. What are we doing? Let's get that going. All right. Then there's Macho Man Randy Savage. You know who this is. Oh, yeah. Macho Man Randy Savage. He sounded like he was on the toilet and something had to come out and it couldn't come out and he just has having a hard time. All right, that's the guy. That's the guy. He's a legend. He's a legend in the game, right next to Hulk Hogan. All right, both of those guys. Hulk Hogan's still around. All right, he's kind of a character himself, but yeah, we're not talking about Hulk Hogan right now. This man died of a heart attack as well. We know what was the cause of that, and unfortunately he died while driving. I'm still confused on what happened with that. Did he crash? Or did he stop the car slowly and just pass away? What was going on with that? I will read up more on that just to get a more of an understanding of how that actually took place. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Then there's Eddie Guerrero. We lie, we cheat, we steal. The most honest theme song for a wrestler to have. Because they all kind of did that. From time to time, all right? The whole federation was a bunch of lies and crazy stuff going on. And they just put it out there. Him and his brother come out, his brother Chavo would come out there and it would embrace that image of these guys can't be trusted. Now, this man apparently died of an arthritis. I can't pronounce it. I can't pronounce it. We're just gonna say I can't pronounce that, all right? And it's something like a heart attack, something has to do with the heart. I think they should have just said heart attack, but I guess it's not like that exactly. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I was under the assumption that this man climbed up at the top of a high rope and fell off to his death. accidentally. I thought it was an accidental death. I thought that was for a good minute the actual case. So I guess I'm wrong, unless he died from that after he fell off the rope. I don't know. I'm going to read up on that too. It's a lot of confusion going on with that. But there has been no film with him in it. Now, his brother is in this movie. I didn't catch that, but his brother is in the film. Okay? So that's close to something. That could count for something, all right? I'll count it. I'll count it. All right? Then we have Roddy Rod Piper. This is one of my favorite ones because he had that whole thing, the whole Scottish, the bagpipe, all that down, and he never let it go. He represented this to the fullest. He was Canadian, but he represented that to the fullest regardless. All right, he didn't care. He did not care. All right, he was in Sunny in Philadelphia. He was in that show. If you didn't know about that, he had his own movie. Not his own movie, but, titled after him, but it was in the 80s or the 90s. Where he was seeing like demons and creatures with his special shades and all that. So, he did more than you could think. He did more than what you think. This man died of high blood pressure, which is very scary because any of us can have that. A lot of us have it and we don't even know how high it is. All right. So that's very, very creepy to just know that he died from that. Sad. Now, does this man have a documentary on himself? I don't know. I'm not sure. I know he's not featured in a movie for a biopic or anything like that. Got to get these things rolling, Hollywood. Got to get these things rolling. Last but not least, China. Oh, you thought I was going to leave her out? No, I'm not. I'm not. She is a legend as well, regardless of what you think of her relationships and what she's been through with that guy. Ridiculous, man. She still was a phenomenal character in wrestling. One of the top female wrestlers of all time. I'll say this. And there's a lot of good female wrestlers, but she's the one. You know she's the one, dude. You know she is the one. I don't care. She also, no, she didn't die from a heart attack. She died from like conventional drugs, like an overdose of drugs, not like steroids or anything like that. So it's a little different, it's a little different, but still tragic. Is there any documentary or show about her? Not at all. Not that I know of. Make them official. Not just like videos on YouTube about the past. I'm talking about real. I'm not saying those are not real documentaries. I'm saying like really put your all into it. So I'm going to look even on YouTube. I'm going to look on YouTube as well to see if there is an actual professional documentary on her. And I'll get back to you on that one. All right. And now we have the Von Aaron brothers. I think that's their names. I'm going to keep calling them Von Aaron, okay? Because I think it's Von something else, but I'm calling them Von Aaron for right now. Okay. And my whole question is, will this story be as tragic as any of these people on the roster so far? We're about to find out. Let's go. Iron Claw. For those not aware, I kind of don't blame you, even though this should be well aware with the seriousness of this whole storyline. But it was kind of slipped under the rug after a while. Like it was brought out as a whole, trailer and everything, but then after a while it died down, in my opinion. Like it really wasn't boosted up or pumped up like I thought it would be. Because I had no idea about this. This was actually recommended to me by a coworker. Shout out to him. Shout out to Andy, the coworker, who gave me this idea to do this review, who wanted me to watch this movie. I forgot all about that, and I'm sorry about that. But yes, this is pretty much a recommended review. All right. But still, yes, no, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for not knowing about this movie if you don't know. Okay. Next time might not be too easy. Iron Claws pretty much starts out with the dad, Fritz Von Erich. Fritz Von Erich, that's the name. Fritz Von Erich, I got it. Okay. And he was a wrestler back in the day, I think the 60s or whatever. And, he was doing his thing by himself on his lonely, standing up for himself. He had his 2 sons and his wife. He was trying to support, and, he had to hold the family up by the foundation. Okay. And so he felt that years later, he should have a whole bunch of sons, one by one. He was just knocking them out. I don't think, even if he had a daughter, he would just keep going until he had more sons. This is pretty much what's going on here. Unless the daughter wanted to wrestle too. And he had 4 sons. The first one died. So he would have had 5. So now he had 4. And his oldest son, played by Zac Efron, aka Kevin, felt that he had to hold the brothers up because he is now the oldest by default. All right. And the dad is pressuring each and every one of the sons to, be a wrestler and get into the game and do what he wants them to do. And it just so happens that Zac Efron is supposed to be pointed out to be the best in the beginning. But then things go a little south because Zac Efron is not quite the wrestler that dad wanted him to be. And Zac Efron wasn't ready for it. And so he starts going down the line with his sons of who's going to be next. Even the son who did not want to be a wrestler originally. Okay. He even got on him. He just went through all the brothers trying to see who's going to fulfill his needs of success. All right. And what follows that is complete tragic stuff. All right. That's the point of the movie. That's the whole plot. Positives. The brothers' dynamic was so strong. It was crazy. Each and every brother had their own set personality. All right. Now bear with me. Bear with me because I don't know these brothers' names exactly. So I'm just going to point and you follow. All right. We have Zac Efron. He's the oldest by default, right? He's the one who feels like he's responsible for everybody under him. He's also not the brightest brother. Okay. And he didn't have a really good speaking strength. He didn't know how to speak publicly, which is why the brother under him had to help him out. Okay. He was the talker. We'll get to him next, but yes, the oldest brother, he was the one who got married. He tried to get that family going. That was the hope of maybe breeding more wrestlers out of him as well. All right. That's what he did. Okay. Then there's the one under him. All right. The tall one with the blonde hair. Yeah. He was the speaker. He was the talker. He know how to wheel and deal. He had the gift to gab. Okay. And so he was very strong at that. That was his power throughout the entire movie. Okay. That's what he did. All right. That's all I'm going to say about him right now. Then there's the one under him. The third brother, the third and second to youngest brother, the shortest in the movie, not in real life. He was in the Olympics, or he was going to be in the Olympics. But then the Olympics got canceled and so on and all this and that. And he had to come home and was from there kind of just forced into the wrestling situation. All right. You kind of tell he didn't want to do it, but he felt like he had to. He didn't want to disappoint his dad. We'll get into that later on as well. And so he was the one that was kind of the overachiever and really wanted to impress his dad and really way too much. He was over exaggerant on it and a little too pushy. So yeah, that's him. Then there's the youngest, man. The youngest is so cool, man. He did not want to be a wrestler at all. He had no interest in this. He was tall. He had the height, but he didn't have the muscle. The dad knew this. The dad kept pushing him anyways. And, but he had his own rock group. So he was a musician. Why not just let him be a musician and jam out? You gotta have you a famous son like that. But that was him. So they all had this different dynamic between the four of them that really worked. All right. Another positive. the nostalgia. This brought back so many great memories of the old school wrestling and the WWF and WWE and all that. They had Ric Flair. It had this other guy. I forgot who that was in real life because the actors in here didn't really look like the wrestlers they portrayed, especially Ric Flair. So that was a little, it was kind of corny. It was a little corny. I was laughing. It gave me some humor to go with. All right. I try to play it like that. Like, okay, I can laugh at it because I know Ric Flair doesn't look like that. But the guy playing Ric Flair, he did act like him. He had the personality. He had the swagger. It just didn't look like him. He looked like he was on Mad TV or something. All right. So yeah, but he tried. But I still appreciated how it had the old school 70s look. You know, the hair and everybody was doing the 3-man team and everybody's doing the body slam and they jump in the ring all at the same time. And oh yeah, it brought back a lot of memories. And there's a lot of features in there that I didn't even realize were in the movie. Okay. So that was exciting to watch as well. All right. It just brings back a lot of stuff, especially if you're a really strong wrestling fan. You're going to like it. You're going to like all that. Trust me. You're going to like every single part of that nostalgia kick. Okay. It is booming through the screen relentlessly. All right. The music, everything, the songs they play, even though it takes a little while for the music to kick in, like that old school music you want to hear. Once it kicks in, oh, it's like, oh, okay. It's something I heard before, but I'll take it. I like it. I'm with it. All right. You know, it really moved me. It really moved me. I was taken aback by watching this. All right. I was taken back in time on a time machine to the 70s with the fro and everything, you know, like I lived in that era or something. And that's what you want to feel with a biopic of a set time. All right. Last positive. This movie is a tearjerker, and that's what it's meant to be. All right. There is tragedy upon tragedy. I'm not going to say a lot because I don't want to spoil so much of the movie. But the first son, he feels like he's in the middle of all of this. And he was constantly stepped over. He was put in as the lead guy, but then I guess he didn't have the charisma that his dad wanted. So, you know, they got the other brothers to step in and things were happening. And it just kept going back to him. And then things happened again and it kept going back to him. And he kept being the backup son, which is crazy. Okay. No, it's wild. The other brothers, somebody had something, medical problem and somebody else got into an accident and then somebody else got into an accident. And then, you know, I'm not saying who did. All right. But a lot of accidents happened in this movie. Not funny, but what can you do? It was insane. And it's going to keep on that kind of an emotional roller coaster throughout, just witnessing all this. And just so much was going on, and it's crazy. You can't help but a little tear gonna come out. A little tear is gonna wad up on the side of that eye. All right, in the driest eye, it will. Okay, because it's insane. It's an emotional ride through and through. Negatives. This took a minute to get good. What I mean by that is the drama. All right, it started off as a wholesome little 70s movie and all that, and the family, and you know the dad's he's a little ambitious with his sons and not himself, and so you know that's going on and whatever. It's a good strong, I'd say almost an hour of that, almost an hour, not a whole hour, but almost to the hour. It seems like they're just kind of, you know, dragging along. Nothing's happening. And then it kicks in later on that, oh, first tragedy. Oh, wow. What? Ew, dang. Damn. I was about to fall asleep until that happened. Not that bad, not that bad off, but I really am expecting it to kick off like immediately. And if something else were known early on in the movie, or that were actually shown, then that could have counted as the first tragedy. But they didn't show a certain part, if you catch my drift. So, until later on, it is mentioned, and like, oh, well, if you'd have done a little flashback on why that happened, then that would have been well appreciated. But he didn't do that. Okay. Another negative. I was so overwhelmed by all of the tragedy going on, all of the bad things just occurring back to back, left and right, constantly. There was no time in between what happened to this brother, then to what happened to this brother, or what happened to the family, period. And after a while, I started not to be affected that much by what else is going on. So because it was so much happening, I became numb. Again. Again. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, they're already going through this, so what's some more gonna take? Okay, I saw that. Now I know. Okay. Oh, another bad thing. And not to say I was taking any of that lightly, because that's not. It's very messed up what was going on. But there was no time in between, and it is a true story. So maybe they're just being real. They're being real, like there was no time to breathe in real life when this was happening. Just bad things after another. See, now the oldest brother did believe that the Von Erich name was cursed, and that's probably what was going on. Like something like the Bundy curse. They had the Bundy curse mixed with some Jacksons going on there. All right, so it's insane, but at the same time, I did get a little numb to the happenings of the movie at one point. But then it picked back up to me caring again after something else happened, and it got a little more interesting. I was like, okay. Now we're getting crazy. But, yeah, Last negative. The father is a complete ass. He's an ass. I can't believe how much of an ass he is. You are trying to live through your sons. Spoiler alert. Okay? You ready? Here we go. The father, one of the sons passed away. All right, that was one of the first sons to pass away since the oldest one, who passed away 1,000 years ago. And they were at the funeral, and the father said, "Don't cry. I don't want to see no tears." What? How are you going to tell your sons not to cry over their brother who just died at a young age? That's insane. They're not dogs. He treated them like he was breeding dogs for wrestling. He had no feelings for his sons like that. Not really. I'd never seen one tear come from this man's eye. Not one care in the world about the well-being of his sons. Not really. Not really. He was the villain of the movie. He was the villain of the movie. Honestly, not the wrestlers they wrestled. The dad, their own dad, was the villain, man. Honestly. And with that said, I'm giving this a hell yes, man. This brings the emotion out. You see how I'm getting worked up about the dad and his craziness? Yes, this is a very good movie. Please see this. Movie of 2023. Movie of the year. Strong. Okay? Press that like button. Share. Subscribe, man.